what's up, y'all? So we got Deadpool and Wolverine saw it Wednesday night. I gotta say a few things. First of all, to all the people who were saying like, oh, how Deadpool and Wolverine is gonna be the one that saves the MCU. Honestly, it doesn't. All right. If anything, it screwed up the MCU even more. Like I already know what they were gonna do when I saw the first trailer. I only saw the first trailer and I was like, all right, I already know where they're going with this. They're gonna do something like No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, where they're not really gonna like pay attention to a lot of details and story, and they're just gonna let the cameos do the thing. So because even before the movie came out, everybody was doing the same thing they were doing with like Multiverse of Madness, where they were gonna like there would be like, oh, this character's gonna cameo, that character's gonna cameo. So basically this movie was gaining a lot of hype mainly because of cameos. All right, so people were basically looking forward to this movie because they just wanted to see what cameos are gonna appear. So they Marvel, like, they knew exactly what they were doing. So they know like, well, Wolverine is coming back, so let's just put a couple of cameos in the movie, and people are gonna completely like ignore the lack of story in the movie, or that if we don't really pay attention or follow like the details or whatever, like people are not gonna care. They're just here to see Wolverine. They're just here to see the cameos, and they're just gonna go home happy without actually noticing a lot of stuff. Story wise, Deadpool 1 and 2 was a better movie. All right, and also look, to the people who think like this is gonna be a multiverse movie, it's not. All right. It's not a multiverse movie because all of the cameos that happened in this movie, it all happens in the void. All right, so the Marvel Jesus thing, like, yeah, because when he said it, like me as well as all the other people thought that, hey, he's gonna go through a lot of universes, he's gonna go through the MCU events. He does not. All right, he does not. He does not do any of that shit. Literally all of the cameos except for the Wolverine doppelgangers, every single cameo happens in the void. Basically means all the cameo characters that we see in this movie are all characters that were pruned and sent to the void. So there was no multiverse involved. But again, people don't care. All right. Why I said that this movie would screw up the MCU is that they did actually kind of screw up some stuff from Loki and some of the Fox movies. So again, but the stuff that they screwed up with the Fox movies, but I don't think it's a big deal, mainly because I don't think most people would actually know about it. Like the stuff that they like screwed over, I don't think most people knew about it. So I don't think it might be a big deal. They'll just be like, ah, well, whatever. It's not like anybody knows about this anyway. So it's not really an issue if we change it because nobody's gonna notice it. So before anything, all right, let me tell you, I'm not saying this movie is totally like you shouldn't really watch it. I think this movie for me is just a one-time watch. Okay, the stuff that was good about this movie is, firstly, the comedy was great, the fourth wall breaking was great, but still at some scenes they were overdoing the comedy. I thought there were some scenes that the comedy was not really needed. I know it's Deadpool, right? I understand it's Deadpool, but still the comedy doesn't really need to be everywhere in every scene. So that was really unnecessary. And some of the jokes, like I said, the unnecessarily done jokes was not really that funny, and it didn't really need to be there, but it was. The action was great. Wolverine was great. Deadpool was great. So these are the stuff that and also, yeah, the cameos was great too. They most of the cameos died, and basically that's what happened. Same thing like Multiverse of Madness, where the cameos basically died, but there were cameos who survived, but it was still good cameos. I'm not gonna lie. So these are the reasons I would say the movie was good. And well, that's pretty much the reasons why people are watching this movie in the first place. So anyways, yeah, they did not really care about any of the details in this movie at all, like the years, the timeline, or which Earth stuff takes place. So one thing didn't make sense to me. Okay, I don't understand how a lot of people are not questioning it, because I am on purpose doing this review a bit late. I'm doing this on Saturday. I watched this movie on Wednesday night because I really want to see if there anybody who notices this stuff. But so far, I've not seen any, and I'm not surprised because, like I said, people are just there to watch this movie for Wolverine and the cameos and all these stuff. They're not really there to pay attention to stuff. So There were stuff that happened where, like, basically with some of the things they were saying in the movie, which I was like, it don't make sense at all. Right? First of all, they're still sticking with the Earth 616 thing for the main MCU Earth. All right, so Deadpool was on the MCU Earth in 2018 talking to Happy because he wanted to join the Avengers. So 2018 is when Infinity War happened. So I'm pretty sure this was before Thanos came to Earth. And then fast forward, Happy said, basically rejected his, request to join the Avengers, and then he was back at his own Earth. So how in the hell did Deadpool travel between universes? Is one thing that I don't get because some could argue that maybe he used the watch thing that Cable had, but the thing is that was to time travel. I don't think you could actually use it to travel between universes. So still, it don't make sense at all. I was like, how in the hell did he went to MCU Earth and then back to his Earth? That did not make sense at all. Okay. Also, Wolverine. All right, let's talk about Wolverine for a second. Okay, there were a lot of Wolverines in this movie. Not really a lot, but I mean, all of them basically appeared in like a 1 minute scene where Deadpool was trying to, find the Wolverines from different universes, which that also didn't make sense. All right, but still, it was great to see all the different versions of Wolverine. We saw the short Wolverine, who was supposed to be comic accurate. We saw Apocalypse Wolverine. We saw Patch. There was one Wolverine, like, I really was not expecting it because they really did a great job, and I'm glad that nobody actually saw this coming. But that Wolverine doppelganger, I really did not. Nobody expected. I was more confused than excited. I was like, what the hell did I just see? How is he Wolverine? I never ever thought of him playing Wolverine ever, and I did not expect to see him. So I was more confused looking, like, watching him as Wolverine than being excited that, oh my god, he's in a Marvel movie, right? I was more confused. I was like, what is going on? When did this happen? So I was more confused about that than actually being excited that he's playing Wolverine for, I don't know, for a few seconds or whatever. So anyways, Wolverine, they said he was an anchor being where, like, he's like basically like a person where if he dies the universe ends or whatever. I mean, like, I don't understand, bro. Like, shit was confusing in this movie. But I mean, the Fox universe stuff is already confusing, all right? And this movie made it even more confusing because, well, this is, to my knowledge, right? The Logan movie and the New Mutants movie, they're in the same universe. And the every other X-Men movies, they're in a different universe, all right? So what they did in this movie is they made Logan and the other X-Men movies in the same universe. So again, like I said, most people don't really know that these two are separate universes. So they were just like, whatever, it's not like people know, a lot of people know that they're the different universe anyway, so we can just combine them and most people are not gonna even notice it, right? So I was like, all right, fine, sure, maybe, because that movie takes place in 2029, so it might make sense. But however, they said that Logan dying in the Logan movies period affected Deadpool's Earth because he was an anchor being, and then him dying basically like affected Wade's Earth, and it was gonna basically destroy his universe. But what did not make sense is that this movie takes place in 2024. Logan took place in 2029. So how does Logan dying in 2029 affect Deadpool's universe in 2024? That I was like, but, like, how does he, like, if you look at in perspective of like, basically Logan's death hasn't even happened yet because this movie was in 2024. So even if you want to combine, say they want to combine Logan and the X-Men universe, right, into the same Earth, even though it's supposed to be not the same Earth, but whatever. So even if they want to combine it and make it the same Earth, still Logan died 5 years later. So it hasn't happened yet. So how can something that hasn't happened yet destroy your universe? All right. So Now we move on to the TVA stuff, all right, because that's what I want to talk about. How could the timelines and stuff go through issues if Loki already took care of it? And also, I thought since Loki took care of it, and like the timeline usually is just like a straight line, right? But then at the end of Loki, now it looks like the tree. But in this movie, it still looks like a straight line. So I was like, so does Loki's events not count? And also, Deadpool was brought to the TVA for no reason at all. They never explained why he was there. They just said he was special. Why he was special, nobody knew. He was just there for no reason at all. Because, well, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought you only go to the TVA if you did stuff that, affects the timeline, but Wade didn't. I know people might think like, well, he went back in time to change a lot of stuff. So I thought, well, okay, it makes sense. That's why the TVA was at his doorstep. But no, they did knew about it, but that's not the reason why they're bringing him in, because they thought he was special. That's the reason why they brought him to the TVA. So are those changes that he did supposed to happen? I guess so. And yeah, then again, I was like, so does the events of Loki didn't happen because why does the timeline is still a straight line rather than a tree? As they showed at the end of Loki. And I was like, okay, maybe different Earths has different TVA. I mean, different universes has different TVAs, right? That's what I thought. But then B-15 was there. She was, the part of the multiverse, MCU Earth, right? So that means the TVA, like, there's only one TVA for all the universes. So why does Loki's event not apply to that TVA? Even though you get what I mean? You get the confusion here. Like they basically screwed up the MCU a lot. Basically, like the events of Loki basically didn't happen in this movie. So I don't understand how a lot of people are not seeing this. And also, how does TVA, like agents, they were just roaming on Earth freely? Because I thought like TVA agents were not really supposed to like you know how TVA exists outside of time, right? So I don't know how they had like outposts on Earth where people can literally just walk into it. So I don't understand that too. I thought they were supposed to exist outside of time. And that's just my question when I saw this movie. So does Loki's events basically doesn't exist? Like it just didn't happen. Are we just supposed to just like ignore Loki ever happened? Because based on this movie, like it's basically like Loki never happened. So like Loki did not just go into the thing and made a tree and everything. So it basically all of that like never ever happened, right? So and that's what I was thinking at first, that maybe this TVA is set on a different universe. But then again, if it's on a different universe, then how did they showed the MCU events to Deadpool? But then again, B-15 was there. That means like they are in the same universe, right? There's only one TVA for everything. But then did Loki not fix everything? So how could the multiverse still have issues? How does Logan dying affect Wade's Earth, especially Logan dying in 2029? How did it affect Wade's universe in 2024? Also, Deadpool, he brought a Wolverine from another Earth to his Earth because his Earth's anchor being died. So now the Earth that he brought that Wolverine from, that Earth doesn't have a Wolverine. So that basically means that universe doesn't have an anchor being. So does that mean that universe is gonna get destroyed? You see what I'm going with this? Like they didn't care about anything at all. Like they are screwing up the MCU if you because they did not do something like this from phase 1 to 3, because everything was connected, right? With phase 1 to 3, everything was connected. But now with phase 4, it just seems like they don't really care anymore. They just like, whatever, let's just do some random shit with these movies. Let's just do some action comedy package in all of the movies and just do cameos, because That's just what all people care about nowadays. Let's just put as many cameos or as many new characters as we can. Don't really care about how stuffs connect. Don't really care about events that's already happened in the universe. So they're basically screwing up MCU even more. So to the people that said that, hey, this movie is gonna save the MCU, I'm sorry, but this movie is screwing up the MCU by not acknowledging a lot of the events that's already happened. So I'm sorry, this movie screwed up the MCU. All right. So again, if you want to watch this movie just for the cameos, just for Wolverine, so then it's fine. All right. But this is not a good movie. Okay. If you're looking at a movie that is set within a universe, then it's not a good movie. Okay. So I don't understand how nobody is like noticing this at all. That's the reason why, again, I'm doing this review late, because I want to see if anybody noticed it, but apparently nobody does. All right, so it sucks. We had a bunch of characters in this movie too. So Deadpool's character, as usual, he was great. The fourth wall breaking in this movie was better, mainly because like they were doing a lot of Disney jokes, like since the Disney bought Fox stuff and everything, there were a lot of fourth wall breaking about that too. So the fourth wall stuff about, I mean, in this movie was actually better than Deadpool 1 and 2. Wolverine was great. All right, his Wolverine actually had a lot of screen time. I think he had the second most screen time after Deadpool. So his fight scenes and everything, that was great. It was really good to see him back, and like just for the majority of the movie he was there. Finally got to see the suit with the mask. Everything was great. Villain was wasted. I don't even understand why she was in the movie. Again, it don't make sense. They didn't care. All right, all they wanted to do is just put Deadpool and Wolverine together, because a lot of people have been asking about it for years. This villain basically served no purpose. All right, the villain is Cassandra Nova, Charles's twin sister. She was in the void. All right, so she basically served no purpose. We saw her for a while. She showed us what she can do. She killed the character, and then she there was like a chance of redemption where they made her do the right thing, and then she tried to do something, and then she failed, and then she died. There wasn't even like a final fight between Deadpool, Wolverine, and Cassandra Nova before she got defeated. All right, she tried. I honestly don't even know what she did actually. She was trying to. She was trying to basically like erase all the universes, and until only the void exists. That's what she was trying to do. And then Wolverine and Deadpool stopped her. So that was it. I was like, that's it. Y'all like hyped her character up to be like really powerful, or she's the twin sister of Charles Xavier. All that to just get killed like that easily. So her character served no purpose. So Marvel has been really weak in that department for a while, which is the villain department. Like they are just making all of these like forgettable villains. Like look at the Infinity Saga, man. Like the amount of villains, like they were really good at writing villains. Phase 4, they were still okay, but it's like steadily declining the way they write their villains. Their villains basically suck nowadays. Like they don't really care about making their villains like really impactful, or really like it's really forgettable. Like you don't really remember, like you don't really care about the villain after this movie. So yeah, the cameo characters was great. So like I said earlier, all of the cameo characters, they all happened in the void. So we had a lot of mutants. So most of the mutants that we saw was all the villains, and they all worked for Cassandra Nova. I'm sure most of them was played by the same actors that played them in the the Fox Universe movies, and some of them were new characters. I saw Juggernaut, I saw Azazel, I saw Sabretooth, Pyro, I think I saw Psylocke too. And there were some characters I didn't notice them, and there was a lot of them, so I didn't really notice them all, or maybe I just don't remember. And then there were good guy cameos. There were 5. There were one from Fantastic Four. There was Johnny Storm, Chris Evans coming back, because I honestly didn't think he was going to play Johnny Storm. When I saw him, I was like, Johnny Storm was not even in my mind when I saw Chris Evans come back. I was like, oh shit, this is probably like another version of Captain America in the Void. But I was like, okay, but not. It ended up being Johnny Storm. I was like, Okay, again, confused. Again, I was confused. um, and then there was Blade, there was Elektra, there was Gambit, and we had X-23 come back. So these cameos are great. So I'm glad these four, yeah, these four was so they survived, and all the other cameos I think died. And there was a lot of Deadpools too. There was a lot of Deadpools, and a lot of people are talking about who Lady Deadpool is gonna be, but they never showed an actor or actress who played the characters. So all of them was masked. Um, and also all the existing Deadpool universe characters, they were all there. They basically had cameo roles. Colossus and all the others. They were there in the beginning, and then they were there in the end, and that was it. All right, y'all. So that's pretty much what I got for this movie. So again, this is not really a great movie. This was just like a cameo fest movie, with just action and comedy. So that's pretty much it. I would lie if I say I didn't enjoy it. I did. I only watched. The main reason I watched this movie was for Wolverine. Wolverine is one of my favorite characters ever. So that's the main reason I was so excited to watch this movie, and I'm happy to get like a almost like a whole movie worth of screen time with Wolverine. So that made me a lot really happy. But this movie was just not really that great because it was just another cameo fest. There was no decent story. Some of the times I was like kind of getting bored because I really wanted a story and not just see Wolverine. But again, I don't really care. I got to see Wolverine, so I don't really care. But still, story is still important, right? So I mean, just at least a little story, but there was literally none. All right, so uh, good seeing Deadpool. Comedy, like I said, great. Some was unnecessary. Action was great. So that's the reasons why I can see a lot of people enjoying this movie. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna say how this movie saved the MCU, or this movie is like the best movie or MCU movie or whatever because of all the cameos and Wolverine coming back. But well, most people don't really notice all the other stuff that they're supposed to notice. So, and I understand Marvel, they know what they're doing nowadays. Like they know most people just care about the cameos, so they can just fuck up the details, and that could actually screw up the universe even more. But people are not gonna notice because they're just there to watch the cameos. So they're like, whatever, we're just gonna ride that train, the cameo train, as long as we can until someone notices it, and then we're gonna stop. I guess that's the plan. But yeah, that is all for me for Deadpool and Wolverine. I hope you like this review. If you agree or disagree, comment down below. If you've seen the movie, comment down below what you think about the movie. So that is all for me. Thank you very much. See you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.